nurtured by the rich Florida sunshine and pampered by her gentle winters, these first plantings prospered and spread, following the sun into the nearby wilderness.
Attributed with regal virtues, the orange became a little miracle, grown by the Spanish in their colonies in Florida on the Atlantic coast and California on the Pacific coast. But then the Spanish went back home to Europe and left the oranges to the Americans. As the 20th century got underway, oranges started to be grown on an industrial scale and were pushed hard to American households. Backed up with plenty of advertising, the American machine imposed orange juice as the drink you could not do without.
Marketing and merchandising efforts were intensified, and the sales results tell the story. From 100,000 cases of high C sold in 1948, the figure rose to 2 million in 1949, and the conservative potential for 1950 is 4.5 million cases.
Oranges were now part of American households and swimming pools. Lots of fun for girls in the sun. And real stars were used in the advertising campaigns.
You've never done a commercial before?
No, I've never done a commercial before. As a matter of fact, there really isn't enough money to get me to do a commercial about a product I didn't believe in. And I think Awake is delicious.
Yes, it sure is. As a matter of fact, we've been saying that Awake tastes as good as the best frozen orange juice.
Well, I think that's an understatement. I think it tastes more like fresh orange juice.
The message had got across. Orange juice now took pride of place on the breakfast table next to the glass of milk. Precious liquid. And this new trend soon swept across the whole planet, from east to west, from north to south. It almost lured Popeye away from his spinach.
After 50 years, I gotta confess, I'm a failure. I told you people eat lots of spinach and put iron in your muscles. Oh, but did you listen? Not at breakfast. Okay, here's new iron fortified Start, instant orange flavor breakfast drink. Start has more iron than spinach and a frosty orange flavor. Start for breakfast packs iron.
Drink, drink up everybody.
Easy, isn't it? Takes just a minute, sets you up for the day. Minute Maid is full of good natural things like vitamin C. Tastes great too, day in, day out. That's why more people drink Minute Maid.
The latest trend in marketing the orange is organic orange juice, sold by girls with orange hair wearing orange hoodies.
I want a big one, big orange juice.
Those are $6.
Oh, they used to be $5.
I know, that was my brother-in-law, and he's kind of an idiot, so. I sent him with my signs, and I wrote him a note, and he said, I guess he can't read.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
My juice isn't actually organic. It's we use integrated pest management, which means that we use all beneficial bugs and beneficial like organic sprays and things like that.
Oranges are the most grown citrus fruit in the world at about 60%, which means 70 million tons produced every year. And the #1 producer is Brazil, then the United States. Now, this variety here is of great economic interest and scientific interest, too. Research is being done by our American and Brazilian colleagues who are trying to sequence its genome. An understanding of its genes through a sequencing of its genome will enable us to develop tools to bring about improvements to the orange tree at a faster rate.
After football, coffee and samba, Brazil's fourth cliché is the orange, and in particular, its juice. The Spanish propagated the orange in what was to become the United States. The Portuguese did the same in Brazil. The Brazilians have now become the orange juice champions of the world, far ahead of their historical rivals, the United States. And almost all Brazilian orange juice is concentrated in the state of Sao Paulo.
There were about 15 companies 15 to 20 years ago. Now there are 4 companies which control 98% of the exports. Brazil accounts for 80% of worldwide exports, and this 80% is in the hands of these 4 companies.
Despite their pole position, however, there is a mystery. The Brazilians don't drink orange juice. It's like the French not drinking wine, the Germans not drinking beer, the Indians not drinking tea, the Cubans not drinking rum. I think you've got the point. So, Christian, you don't drink the juice that you sell, is that right?
Brazilians don't drink industrial orange juice. They're lucky enough to be able to drink it freshly squeezed. Anyone can buy oranges at the supermarket or in the market very cheaply, and then they make their own juice at home, in the restaurant, in a bar, and so on. That's why industrial juices don't sell well here.
Leva laranja pra você que tem laranja, dá com pau, pé de laranja e tem canavial. Lá laranja, laranja, tá lá laranja, onde se vê, cata laranja e vive de vender. Leva laranja pra você que tem laranja, dá com pau, pé de laranja e tem canavial. Laranja, mexerica, galego, cravo, lima, siciliano, Tahiti, tudo família. Laranja, mexerica, galego, cravo, lima, siciliano, Tahiti, tudo família.
I prefer real juice, freshly squeezed while I watch. It gives me a feeling of pleasure that's incomparable.
It's a family thing, first of all. And it's good for your health and figure. It's great. I prefer juice every time.
Let's see how our Brazilians became the champions of squeezed oranges. It all begins in greenhouses, with the little seeds from which the baby orange trees will sprout. Plenty of water, plenty of selecting, and lots of cutting and grafting. The secret to getting a beautiful orange tree bearing lots of fruit is a technique that's almost as old as the world. The big American neighbor did it just the same way.
They cut a small branch with lots of buds on it from a healthy tree which they know produces a lot of fine oranges. Then with a sharp knife, they carefully slit the bark of a young tree near the ground. Cut a bud from the branch that came from the heavy-bearing tree, and slide this bud into the slit good and tight. Over this graft, they wrap a special tape for protection. Now, after the tape has been removed and the bud has taken, which means it has started to become a healthy branch of the tree, the top of the tree is cut off. Then when this branch has grown out a little more, it's trained up to act as the trunk of what will become a new tree.
The farm at Itapetininga has over 9,000 hectares of orange trees. And we do over 1 million grafts every year. We've already planted over 3.6 million orange trees.
Since 2003, reconstituted juice from concentrate has had a large share of the orange juice market. I'm talking about frozen juice, which is a traditional product. At the same time, non-concentrated juice is making a lot of headway around the world.
Maintenant, je vais faire un jus d'orange concentré, comme au Brésil. Les Brésiliens, aujourd'hui, c'est les champions du monde de orange.
Mais c'est pas nous, les Américains.
Florida, California, fini, baby! C'est pas assez concentré, concentrons-nous. Alors, regardez. L'orange, c'est la vitamine C.
No, Jasmine, listen. To get a good orange juice concentrate isn't very complicated. First, you need a factory. Then you need oranges, an astronomical number of oranges. Give them a good wash, Jasmine, squeeze them well, then filter, dehydrate, pasteurize, and freeze the juice. And that's it. It's in the can. Well, in the barrel, anyway. After showing us their industrial arsenal, the Brazilians moved on next to their ecological reforestation program. The production of 1 litre of orange juice requires 20 litres of water and 2 centilitres of oil, which makes you wonder, makes a lot of people wonder at the present time, is it very reasonable, Christian, to go on pouring all that water into the earth?
On this question, we feel quite at ease. We carried out a study on the whole chain of production, applying European and American criteria, and this study proved the sustainability of our production methods. I'm talking about reforestation, the CO2 emitted by land and sea transport, and the capturing of CO2. The orange juice sector, taking into account everything from the plantation to the transport of the juice, captures more CO2 than it emits.
The concentrate crosses the Atlantic every fortnight to go and flood Europe. With all its papers in order, it disembarks at Antwerp in Belgium. This lot is for Europe. But other Brazilian ships haul their thirst-quenching cargoes to Japan, Australia, and even the United States.